What's up, people? Hello, and welcome back to a very special episode on the channel. That's right, we're new, we're improved, we have a brand new name. We are now known as the Cup Chasers. All right. Yeah, we go through a rebranding process. I'm excited about the future, about the coming episodes. We will be the Cup Chasers from now on. We got a new crest coming down the pipe for you as well. So thank you for those who have stuck with us, who've been here from the beginning. Thank you to all of those who are new. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe to the channel, get the notification bell on for all those Cup Chaser videos. All right. This segment tonight is about best 11s.
The Chelsea best 11 versus that Man City best 11 would be a really good matchup position per position because it's going to be very similar on how I line mine up.
Perfect segue. X, you're the coach. And the way we're going to do this, we got to do another segment where Patrick has given us his Chelsea best 11. That will also be posted very soon. And so, as you say yours, Patrick, I'm going to let you call yours out as well, and we'll give them. We'll compare them. And all right, we'll start with the goalkeepers. Take it away.
Petr Cech, easy.
Oh yeah,
he's the goat. He's the goat. Like he's one of the goats.
The only question is, does Courtois ever give him a run for his?
If Courtois wins, I mean, all right. Let me ask you this: between all of this, is it when the player was at the club or the player at any point in time? It's just since the player played there, you can field him at his prime.
I would say their best when they were at the club.
Yeah. Oh, then yeah. I'm glad I made a set here because I did it where some of these players, like we have Galit, we have.
Yeah, we're not giving you Arjen Robben, sorry.
And Arjen Robben, but they weren't the best when we have KDB if we really want to get to it.
We're not giving KDB.
Okay. So is that player in their prime at our club?
Yes.
Okay. Then yes, it's still Petr Cech.
Always.
Then it's definitely Petr Cech because Courtois.
I mean, he was good for y'all.
He was pretty good
for us. It's the trophy. It's the trophy cabinets that I would compare there.
Sure.
So that's
Petr Cech is the winningest goalkeeper in Premier League history.
So I mean, he makes my Prem goalkeeper too, but that's not here nor there.
We'll get to that one.
Yeah.
Well, we've already seen the left back. We'll get that.
It's pretty easy. Ashley Cole. That was easy.
Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
Every day of the week.
Right back is tough, though.
Right back's tough. Gosh, yes. It's between two players for me. It really boiled it down.
Who are your two?
Cesar Azpilicueta.
Okay.
And Ivanovic.
See, that's where I came down to as well.
But you know, the funny thing about it is Ivanovic played how long? Didn't he play center half some?
Oh yeah, he could move into the middle.
I know he played a lot on the right, but I couldn't.
So
I mean, he was so big.
With the squad that I'm going to put in the middle, which I'm very interested to see who you're. See, I went 4-3-3 for this Chelsea squad. I just felt like it really balanced out the feed that's going to happen up at the top. All right, so in the middle I put John Terry at center back, but next to him I put Carvalho.
Who?
See, I went back and forth on that one.
I did too because Gary Cahill really.
We ended up saying Desai.
Oh, Desai, yeah.
That's a great one, too.
Yeah, we went with Desai.
See, I went with Carvalho.
Does Cahill get a shout?
Cahill, for me, he gets an honorable mention. He has to. He's the next one I'm sending out there if it's not these two. It's Gary Cahill. Because he put the club on his back. After John Terry left, he put the club on his back and said, I will lock down this defense. I will hold it down until I leave. And he did. He did a great job at doing it. We won trophies. We kept the legacy. I thought he did a great job handling, and he got the armband for a while for us. Like he has to get an honorable mention.
We also mentioned. Go ahead.
No, but because I'm putting the bigs, like those are very two big center backs. I really floated on going with Cesar Azpilicueta just for the mobility of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the brute. Like old school me wants to play that squad with Ivanovic because you're not. It's brutal ball. You're not getting. It's all four of those is ball or man. We might ship some cards.
One thing you have to remember with mine is I was trying to also defend against what Jake was going to do with Arsenal.
Yeah.
So some of my choices you're going to be like, But I'll explain if I need to.
So let's think. So for X,
So who was
think about you're playing against Lewis's Man City in the Champions League final tomorrow. How does that change anything?
it's
Does that-
Ivanovic for me because I'm gonna make them stand up and play me physical, which I know KDB doesn't like to do. I know some of those strikers don't like to do. If he fields
Nasri's
Tevez,
not gonna like that.
yeah,
No,
Nasri's
it's
not gonna
not.
like that. If he fields Tevez, I might. I mean, it just solidifies Ivanovic for me. But Cesar does take the back seat, gets a huge honorable mention. I love Cesar Azpilicueta. I have his
Jekyll won't
jersey.
have an issue though.
Oh no, He'll battle with the best of them.
We'll
Yeah.
battle with him.
Yeah. But that's why I went with Ivanovic. Oh, it's literally neck and neck for me, but that's why I went with Ivanovic. It's just he's a brute. He showed his class at Chelsea. He got through the hard times and the good times with the club. He played injured, played hurt, played broken, all around. He's what I would want at any back. And like I said, you can shift him into the middle.
Do Alonso or perhaps Chile get a shout?
Alonso would get. See, the problem is they both played left. And over Ashley Cole, they have no shot. If I could shift one to the right, if I could make Marcus Alonso play right, we might be talking different. But Reece James, recent club. It's the reason why Holland can't get into City. He just hasn't been there enough yet to hit the all-time status for me. Reece James is going. If he stays healthy and he continues at this club, he will definitely be in this in a couple years. But for me, as it sits today, right now, again, not having that. What did you call it, Lewis? Recent bias. Yeah, I love Reece James, but that's honestly why I kind of went with Ivanovic over Cesar Azpilicueta too, because he still has a legacy to leave the club. How he leaves this club will be a telling sign.
I mean, Cesar has won every trophy
Everything
that there is to win.
Yep.
He won Champions League twice.
The funny thing
Europa
is
League
that,
even. Yeah.
Ivanovic is deceptively fast too. He's deceptively fast. He's a big guy, but he can move.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that would be my back,
That's
5 or 4 if you don't include the goalkeeper. The midfield was the roughest part for me, bro. We've had some prolific midfielders come through this club.
For me, it was 2 shoe-ins, and
2 shoe-ins. Yeah.
then you can discuss the third.
Lampard's a shoe-in.
Yep.
It's immediately Lampard. So I went Lampard at the 8, playing behind him, and I struggled with this massively. I struggled with this hard because there's 3 players that come to mind at the 6 for me if I'm playing a CDM. Conte, Essien, and Ramirez.
Not John Obi Mikel?
Didn't even think about Ramirez.
Ramirez, yeah.
Ramirez and Essien did exactly what we had them to. They followed the instructions that Mal put in front of them, that Jose Mourinho put in front of them to a T. Lock this game down. We will grind this out 1-0, and we will win every trophy there is to win.
Okay, so question for you: did you not think about Mekaleli?
I did, but when I went on this, I went on trophies. I went on who produced more for the club and win. And I think Conte and Ramirez had a little bit harder of a run than in the midfield. You have to understand, Conte and Ramirez both. Ramirez took on a Barcelona squad almost single-handedly, 2 legs back to back, and locked some of the best ones down in the world. But that was, again, that's what his job was. And he took his job very seriously. He was very good at locking a game down and not allowing that connect to happen. It was very hard for me. On my list, I have Conte first. And even if it's recent, even if he's still at the club, the man's a champion. You can't, his demeanor is amazing. He's an amazing human being. He's an amazing CDM, probably one of the best to ever do it. I wish he could have stayed healthy for the last 2 seasons because it would have just been so much more.
Remember, your lens is the City game. You're playing City. In the
No, and I need him, and I know he's not as big or physical as Essien, but I need him because he is way more mentally strong to hold off Katie, the connection with Katie. He's fast. He's everywhere at once. He's 2 guys. Ramirez and Essien, I never really got the 2-guy vibe. They did their job. They played their job well. But you put who I'm going to name next to this man or in front of him is why I went with Conte. And for me, it was very hard to leave Eden Hazard off of this. It really was because I went with Zola.
Oh,
in your number 10 spot?
Yes.
Really?
Wow.
That's interesting. He's not even on Patrick's team.
I went back and forth on him. Because remember that right wing is where I really struggled.
Yeah.
It was hard. William, Pedro.
That's who I went with. It was William.
Yeah.
And the reason why,
I
again,
respect that.
I got to cover Henry somehow. And I know he's going to track back, but I also know he's going to hit him on the counter. So,
Right.
yeah, I went with William. I also went with Michael Ballack.
Yeah, for the number 10 role, it's Michael Ballack for me as well.
Wow. See, I went with Zola. I went with the feed because I think Zola could keep up with KDB like on the creation. I needed creation here. Hazard creates by himself. Zola's going to play into these next three guys, which is, again, it's all set up to do what the Chelsea monster was set up to do.
Mm-hmm.
And these next three is why I went with Zola, because I need Conte to stop it, feed it to Zola, Lampard to hit the outside shot or play the ball in, but Zola's going to play this perfect ball into. This one was extremely hard for me on either right wing. I played, 3 forwards or 1 forward with 2 center forward, however you want to put these guys. I kind of thought of it like essentially 1 with Drogba being the head of the helm with 2 supporting strikers behind him, with the midfield then supporting those.
Sure.
Since we went with Prime at the club, Gleat doesn't make that wing spot. I would put him there because he's an all around football. He's Mr. If you talk about world football, it's how do you not mention him into a top 11 of all time?
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
But since we went with Prime at the club, Willian hit my white ring or Pedro. Pedro and Willian to me really kind of that's why they were there together. They were interchangeable. One really followed after another, one substituted for another. They picked up the slack on one another. Willian edges it out for me at Chelsea because Willian was 8, and I love it because it's my position. I'm dead heart. I will always be biased on it. He's a true flyer. That man it is the definition of what a flyer should be on the field. And supporting him on the other side. So my 9, so that'd be like my 7, or if you want to play a wing. My 11 is Drogba. 9 was really hard because it really went between 3 players to help support in or be another viable option on this wing or in the forward position. Like I said, I kind of thought of it as supporting Drogba, like almost right behind him. Anelka, Maluda, or Eto'o. Eto'o falls off because you said Prime at the club. Eto'o, again, if I could field because he was at the club.
He's Prime Barcelona, though.
Right, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, his Prime. So I would have to go with Nicholas Anelka here. And I think with doing so, it actually bolsters my squad because of the chemistry Nicholas Anelka and Didier Drogba really formed when they were on that squad under Mal. So that's kind of why, again, if I have Zola supporting Anelka and Drogba, who are you? That's 2 Hollands. Like, if you put it in the air, someone's going up to get it. We're going to win that 50-50 ball. And again, if you have Willian flying down there and supporting it in on the other side, so you have a back post run and a middle PK run to the 18 or into the 6. I just think that right there is kind of the all around balanced squad I could field to fight a City 11 or maybe even an Arsenal 11.
Do you want to call him crazy or do you want me to?
I went with Hazard. I went Hazard.
How do you drop Hazard?
Drogba, Hazard, Drogba, and Willian.
Yeah, I would have thought you'd have played Hazard on a wing.
Yeah.
See, Hazard for me played 10 for Chelsea. He was the creating offensive cam.
He was never deployed in that position, though.
Yeah, he played the wing most of the time.
No, he came in from left wing and he shot in towards the box.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need him to do that if I have Nicholas Anelka and Didier Drogba. I don't need him to do it. That's the only thought process behind that. And Zola is such a creator that if I drop Hazard into the midfield, now I'm sitting someone who's going to have the work ethic to play midfield, like true midfield.
Sure.
Well, Hazard's an amazing, but his prime at Chelsea was very short given a career, if you look at it.
True. I also thought about it as Czech's the keeper. He's not going to play it out of the back. So play it up to Drogba and play it off to Willian and Hazard to finish.
I have Anelka and Drogba and Willian. The only thing and Zola instead of Hazard. So yeah, like I said, it's just I know they're going to go big on their defenders. I don't want Hazard to get beaten up. I need 2 big men. Like, who's going to stop Anelka and Drogba making a run in? You only got Rio. We only got 1 Rio Ferdinand. You only have 1 Company. You only have 1.
Well, they got Torre, Fernandinho, and company on your man.
Yeah.
So what do we think? That's the matchup.
That would be my 11 for
What's,
a Champions League final.
I don't know, man.
That'd be
One was
tough.
left. It's tough. It really is.
See, one of my things about Champions League and about a lot of the teams in the Champions League, and I'll cite last season's Real Madrid as much as it's going to pain all 3 of you. When the team itself is struggling, all of the best teams have an X factor, have a Karim Benzema to come along and just lift the team. And I'm not gonna lie, X, I think you took your X factor out of your squad completely. Because when Hazard was at Chelsea,
Was
he
Drogba
could-
not that up?
yeah, but
Drogba hit a
Drogba wasn't gonna drop back, pick up the ball himself off a tackle,
But
and
Zola
then
does.
beat 4 guys and give a little dink for Willian to tap in.
I think Frankie Zola has way more of a career than like stat line to stat line than Eden Hazard does. Like numbered, I understand Eden Hazard was an amazing player. I wish he wouldn't have went to Madrid, and I wish he wouldn't have got hurt. It's just it's hard. It really is. Like this isn't like one of those like, oh no, Frankie Zola is so much better than Eden Hazard, and I need to sit Eden Hazard. I just think Zola could do that, and Drogba is that. Like Drogba scored against every time Drogba played against Arsenal, there was a goal. Every time Drogba played in a big game
Man,
final.
don't bring that up. Every time a lot of prolific strikers played Arsenal, there was a goal.
I threw that at last time.
Yeah. Every time there was a big game final, Drogba scored a goal. Like he's Mr. Big Game. If this comes down to a Champions League final, I'm putting Drogba in, and I'm wanting that feed because you have to understand, like the goal that got us our first Champions League was the GDA Drogba in the 90th minute. Like Hail Mary from nowhere.
Lewis has that too. 93-20.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis has that too.
And
that's what I said. Our game would be very interesting to watch because I'm playing a back.
And Dzeko scored the goal to tie it. People ignore that.
I mean, and how clutch is KDB these days? You know, I mean, it's
when he decides to give some effort.
I mean, to me, honestly, looking at it on paper, they're interchangeable for me. Frankie Zola, Eden Hazard. Like, I don't.
For me, man, honestly, regardless of who you choose, Zola or Hazard, you're getting run over in that midfield.
With Conte and Lampard, no way.
Yeah, absolutely.
No way.
Because Torre and Fernandinho are going to block you
up. Man.
They're going to block you up all day long, and then KDB and Silva are not going to give you the ball back.
Well, if we play it like that, then I'd have to go either Essien or who'd you choose, Patrick?
I went with Ballack, Conte, and Lampard.
Yeah.
See, Ballack to me seems like he'd get bodied off that City.
He was a big dude.
Yeah, but he wasn't like a big
dude.
He was. But so was Essien.
Well, yeah, Essien was
different player, though.
Yeah, Essien.
You're not interchanging them. You're interchanging Conte and Essien.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do you take Conte out? I mean,
no.
How do you battle Torre and Fernandinho? You know, who are you putting?
To me, that's the size issue. It's not the player; it's the size. Conte is my size, playing center defensive mid in one of the at the world's level
for him. I'll refute.
It really hasn't. It really hasn't.
Way bigger than what he is.
It really hasn't.
He's played against Fernandinho too.
Yeah.
So I mean, he knows how to play against him.
Conte gets it for me. I think every Chelsea fan would have to sit in solidarity that Conte is probably the best center defensive mid that we've ever had. If it's not Essien, I think Conte Makalele is also a very legendary player to put in that position because he was at his prime, at the peak of his prime at Chelsea. Like that's a really good pick as well.
The reason why I said maybe John Obi Mikel even was because it felt like when he came on, it was shutdown time.
Oh yeah,
it was game over. He was the finisher.
Yep.
He made sure that nobody got the ball off of us. He wasn't flashy, even though he was a 10 for Nigeria. he wasn't flashy, but you knew he wasn't gonna screw you over in the midfield.
Kind of, you know who reminds me of John Obi Mikel, like player?
Who?
Partey.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Like looking at what they employ him to do whole game versus Mikel was okay, we're 1 up, now we're changing everything. Here's your guy.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Right. Right.
Closer. It was the closer.
Honestly, though, I think with this kind of narrow formation that Lewis is employing, Cole and Ivanovic might get some joy down the wings, but that's why you got to have Hazard in there on your wing, man. Like you got to be able, because they're gonna be narrow with this three back formation, and is Willian really gonna beat? Well, maybe Clichy. But I think Hazard is your best bet against Zabaleta, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
it's just so tough to drop prime Hazard, man. I know he's the Hamburglar nowadays.
He carried that team, man. Like
He did.
Carried
He was the
them
only
that
one.
year.
He was the
just
only
like,
one.
hey, you're going with me.
And the Drogba company battle would be awesome.
Oh, it'd be fun.
That'd be epic.
Amazing to watch. Well, same thing
We
with the
never got to
Dzeko
watch
and
that game, but
Terry
Company was after him. Company was after
after.
Drogba, wasn't he?
No,
Oh,
they
they
played
crossed
they
at
played
the
together.
end. They
At the
crossed
end.
it like Drogba was on his way out.
like after the second stint. Like he went
The second
to
stint, yeah.
Galatasaray.
Yeah, and then he came back and then he left.
Yeah. All right, so final verdict. I'm saying 3-2 City.
No way.
I don't have a score.
It's so tough. Yeah, I mean, I know it's tough.
I mean, I do agree. I expected Hazard on the wing. Hazard on the wing and cutting in is like a better version of Nasri doing the same thing.
A much better version.
And so yeah, that makes it hard. I mean, there's like no match to Aguero. There's no match for him because Aguero could play the 10 because he played under Dzeko. So it's quite hard to mark him when he's free in space. But I just think the stoutness of that Chelsea back four is something to marvel at. They were.
Are we playing in their era, or are we playing today's game with VAR and all the like that changes everything? Because my squad's catching reds. Like half those guys aren't going to make a full game. Like,
that's fair. If we had VAR today, yeah, or if John Terry's out.
Terry's gone. Terry's gone first 15 minutes, bro. Like
it would be like the Champions League.
It would be the Champions League final. Ivanovic gone. Terry gone.
Yeah,
gone
against Barcelona. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
It's funny because the trait of some of the greatest center halves is their ability to get a red card. Because like Sergio Ramos, that dude was a walking card. Walking card.
Yeah, guarantee.
God, dude.
And it's tough. It's tough to call. That's why when we did the Arsenal 11 versus the Chelsea 11 X, it went 4-4 to penalties. And what did we say?
Check saves them both because he plays for both teams.
No, we said that. Who was your 7th kick taker? Conte?
I can't remember if it was. I can't remember now. Who we go?
I think it was Conte was the 7th kick taker versus Aaron Ramsey being my 7th kick taker, and we said that Czech might save Aaron Ramsey's penalty, and Conte would win it.